Morning and welcome to the Smallholding Good Life, the gardening section. Today we're going to be clearing up the last area of the plot that needs tidying up this year, weeding it, getting it ready and sorted for sowing. I've got a few old parsnips and things in here that I'm going to leave one or two of them at the very end to go to seed for next year's seed. Last year I didn't quite get to them before they went to seed, so my parsnip sowing this year is a bit erratic. But this is what we're going to tackle today, and we're going to sort out today and actually make it usable for some vegetables. We'll see what we can find and salvage while we're in here. I know there's a couple of lettuces that could be moved that have self-seeded or grown by themselves. A few pot marigolds which I'll move. Yeah, not a lot else I think there. I think there's some daffodils that need replanting, but I'll have a look at those and weigh up whether they're worth it or not. So right, let's get on. This isn't getting anything done, is it? Move the water pipe. Try not to knock the camera over in the process. Although we're reluctant here to over clean, although this is very under clean, and also to use things like slug pellets, because we do have a lot of thrushes, blackbirds, crows, rooks, magpies. They all eat snails, they all eat slugs, the odd duck. So we try not to poison things if we can help it. So right, let's get down to the actual clearing. Just remember, if you're on a small holding and you're doing things like parsnips, the tops of parsnips are poisonous. They are actually a member of the hemlock family, so you want to make sure that you're not feeding the tops of your parsnips to any of your animals. Bottoms, not a problem. Tops, poisonous. Right, let's get this area weeded. Get my weed bucket. Put some mulch on here as well. These trees all mulched. If you hear the goats whinging, it's because every time I garden, I chuck them a bucket of weeds. So they're just anticipating and waiting for their share of the goodies out of the allotment. But they're going to have to wait a bit further today because we've got a lot of weeding to do before they get a bucket. Now, I was always taught, don't know if you can see me from there, hang on, let's just... I was always taught that you should always use a fork rather than a spade, if possible. Simply because a spade ruins the soil structure, whereas a fork doesn't. It sort of fluffs it up and makes it a lot more workable than a spade. Spades are good on heavy ground in the winter, but again, you're damaging the soil structure. If you can get a good digging fork, dig it. Yeah, so that's why I use a fork more than a spade. And I will also be going over this with the rotavator later. This is kind of like a rough dig, and then I'll rotivate it. This is more to get out the deep-rooted weeds like the nettles and the docks, thistles, burdock. We do suffer a lot from south thistle, and I think also I might take out a lot of the grape hyacinths that I planted around the bottom of the trees this year. They've got a bit too thick, and I think it'd be a good idea to take a lot of them out and get rid of them. Anyone who grows grape hyacinths in good soil will tell you, muscari that is, for if you want the Latin word, they just spread like wildfire, and they quickly become very matted, stop flowering, don't produce very much. So they do need thinning on a regular basis. So that might be another one of my jobs to do today. I would just like to get this area sorted and cleaned. So better get on with it really. I'm going to switch you off for a little while because nobody needs to see me digging for 2 hours. Okay, I have weeded most of the plot now, taken out the nettles, etc., and I've put them to one side to dry for the goats a little bit. Leave them a day or two, they prefer to eat them that way. I can then mulch underneath the hawthorn hedge before I rotivate it, because it's a lot easier to get a wheelbarrow over the ground when it's not rotivated. So I had to move a load of daffodils as well. So what I'm going to do next, I think before I mulch, is I'm going to cut them all down and replant them, and fingers crossed, hope for the best. Some of them may come back next year, some of them may not, I don't know. I'm not really bothered. They had to be moved, so that's going to be my next job. So we shall do that next. Sorry, the goats are just destroying as much of their pen as they possibly can in a protest that they haven't been given at least 4.5 tons of greens this morning. You lot are so wasteful. They just want to get in here and eat everything, and trust me, they would. People say goats aren't fussy and they will eat anything. They actually won't. A well-fed goat will not touch anything that's poisonous. My goats won't touch a lot of the stuff that I give them unless it's to a certain standard. Goats are actually very, very fussy eaters. If you think you can just stick them in a field and they'll eat all the bramble and all the weeds and all the nettles, you're sadly mistaken. Goats aren't that sort of creature, unless of course you've starved them. If you starve a goat, it will eat pretty much anything, as I'm sure you would if you were stuck somewhere with the only option was nettles and brambles. That's what you would eat. So yeah, fussy, very, very fussy. They have got 3 buckets of greens, they're picking through them, and they go, no, 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 I'll nibble that, no, don't want that, no. So that's what they're like. Don't believe anyone who tells you that they will eat anything. And when a goat is they say, well, they're trying to eat your clothes. They're not. You've got to remember, a goat isn't born with hands. It can't physically pick something up, touch it and feel it. Its hands is its mouth, and for it to feel something, it will put it in its mouth. If it wants to try to undo something or play with something, it will put it in its mouth. So yeah, goats aren't that sort of creature that people tend to make you believe that they are. Sorry, I keep looking up. There's a pigeon eyeing up the wheat shed. I'll just keep an eye on him, so make sure he doesn't go in. Yeah, so that's goats and weeds. Right, okay, show you what I've done so far. You can see how far we've got. Yep. That area is now neutralised. To be more neutralised in a minute. Okay, let's go and do these daffodils. Ooh. You need an eel around a hawthorn hedge, because I can guarantee there are so many thorns in here. Look at that, look. Look at those nasty little critters just waiting to stab you to death. Right, these are my poor old daffodils that should have been planted a couple of weeks ago really, but I just didn't have the time. Kept them somewhere shady. So what we're going to do is trim them down and replant them. Probably completely wrong. A lot of people will probably tell you, no, you shouldn't do it like that. Yeah, I know. Followed by, I don't care. This is how I do it. This is how it usually works. Just pick out the bulbs. I'm going to do this, plant these along here and then mulch them in. Probably give them a water first, just so they've got a chance of recuperating a little bit over the winter. Give them, ouch, see, I told you, thorns everywhere, blasted things. The rest of those aren't much good, so next ones, that's most of them trimmed off to this sort of level, and now I'm going to replant them all. Get rid of that thistle. Plant them in small groups. Right, what have we got left here? One more, I think. The rest can get all little ones. Check through this pile. Right, let's go get some, empty the compost. No, empty the wheelbarrow and get some compost. Barrow full one. Right. That's the worst bit done behind the polytunnel. Now let's just get round these hedging mulched. We ain't got all day for that. Do it the fast way. Want it nice and thick. Get it round this old wood up. Get it right to the back. Suppress as many weeds as we can. Right, there we go, that's one lot. Should do it. A nice tilt on it. Oh. So, what do you think so far? Not too bad compared to what it looked like this morning. Nice. Hang on. Oh, camera's loose. There we go. Better. Nice and tidy. All I've got to do now is just weed this. Oh, I'm stuck on the bucket. Right, is to weed this section here along by the gate and mow this bit of grass. Mow the grass, put a few bits of this rubbish away, put the hose up. Yeah, we're getting there. Rhubarb's looking good. Oh, so let's have a quick wander around the allotment, shall we, and see what's out in general. Yeah, come on then, let's go for a walk. Now I planted out a couple of runner beans. Probably a bit too early, probably get frosted, but you know, hey ho. We have the golden beetroot, the Swiss chard as pruned by chickens. We have the kale. We have the spinach, also pruned by chickens. Onions, pruned by chickens. Garlic's looking really good though. And garlic's looking well. Potatoes are coming through. I keep earthing them up, but they're growing quicker than I can earth them up. What we got over here? We have got very nice honeysuckle coming through. There's a few things I gave up worrying about the other year. Raspberries, I just chucked any raspberry canes, any gooseberry bushes, any blackcurrant bushes, all into the side of the allotment, and I really don't do an awful lot with them. The Jerusalem artichokes are coming through, but as you can see, by abandoning them, they are absolutely covered in fruit. You know, my gooseberry bushes, oh hello puppy. And here I have 3 Nagina plum tomatoes that can be grown outside, so we'll see how that goes. I've put in a couple of butternut squashes. Oh, thank you. A couple of butternut squashes, and I have this wonderful lime tree that we bought. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. I will find that out for you, but it is the most beautiful colour. I mean, look at the colour of those leaves. It's only a baby, but we have hope. Lilac hasn't flowered this year. Had a bit of a sulk, I think. Lots of pears. Got lots of pear trees, lots of apple trees. My thing is I'm planning ahead, because there'll come a time when I won't feel like playing with the giant rhubarb and planting loads of vegetables. Here's my sugar snap peas. They're all doing well. And here are some climbing yellow beans. These are for drying. And a little clematis poking through. The roses, buds are just coming. And we've got a beautiful Greek thyme, which just, it is a beautiful plant, and I highly recommend it. It's evergreen, and if you come across one, now where did this one come from? Beth Chatto's, I think. It is from Beth Chatto's. I got it from Helmingham Hall Garden Fair, from Beth Chatto's stall, and she's got some beautiful plants. Ooh. And here's a cordyline, which I must admit I purloined from somebody else's garden because I love cordyline and I didn't have any, so a few herbs, the polytunnel, which as you can see is full of plants, all waiting to go out for sale. They're not quite ready yet. Ooh, some of them are, but I haven't put them out yet. So we've got some marigolds, a few nicotinas left. A lot of those are gone. Some geraniums, begonias, cucumbers, and in the back here we have asparagus peas. Lots of asparagus peas. Parsley is coming through. A bit late, but it's coming. A couple of bay trees still got left. Tomatoes are doing well. Oh dear, that one's been garrotted by a peat-free compost bag. Lots of tomatoes, different types because I like lots of different colours. Oh, and then around the corner we have another mini greenhouse which has been devoured by the locals. Lots of zinnias, petunias, Izzy Lizzies, a few nasturtiums. They have really dark red leaves. Ooh. Then we've got pot marigolds, a few veg plants I picked up for next to nothing the other day from the garden centre. 50p! And this is the shade tunnel. This is where I keep everything I want to keep outside. Here it's either excruciatingly hot or freezing cold. You're either soaking wet or very dry. I've got lots of mints. I've still got some sugar snap peas left. Lots of irises that I was given. There's an older tree, a few horse chestnuts, peony. Lots of other plants. Oh dear, the failed cucumbers. Let's not hang around on those too long. And my cold frame has got most of my brassicas in. They're all waiting to go out. I'm going to try and get some of them out today. And this is my wildflower garden. But this year what I've done is I've planted lots and lots of seeds of cottage garden plants. Now I've started a lot of these off, like you see there's little clumps here and there. They were started off in plugs, but I also put the rest of the seed straight into the garden. So what I've got is 2 layers of cottage garden annuals that are bee friendly. So I'm going to get an early flush and then a later flush of these. So that should continue the flowering season a little bit longer. My little Dorrit. Now this keeps coming up and I'm sure that is a flipping Jerusalem artichoke that's gone walkies. Darn things.